Arjun grew up in a house filled with the scent of cardamom and the echoes of his father's booming voice. His father, Mr. Sharma, was a businessman, a man of routine, discipline, and a seemingly endless stream of instructions. To young Arjun, his father was a stern figure, a wall of disapproval that seemed to block out any warmth or affection. Arjun's mother, Maya, was the opposite. She was a soft, comforting presence, always ready with a hug, a kind word, and a plate of freshly made samosas. She was the balm to Mr. Sharma's perceived harshness. Arjun often wondered how such different personalities could coexist under one roof. From his earliest memories, Arjun's life was structured with an almost military precision. Wake up at 6 a.m. for studies, followed by a rigorous exercise routine. Breakfast had to be consumed in a specific order, and any deviation was met with a disapproving frown from his father. School, homework, and then more studies. Free time was a rare and precious commodity, usually allocated to activities that Mr. Sharma deemed productive, like learning coding or practicing his handwriting. Arjun longed to be like the other boys in his class. They played cricket until dusk, went to the movies on weekends, and seemed to live in a world of carefree abandon. But whenever Arjun dared to express his desire for such freedom, Mr. Sharma would simply shake his head. "Life is not a game, Arjun," he would say, his voice firm. "You need to be prepared. You need to be strong. The world doesn't reward laziness." Arjun resented these words. He saw them as shackles, binding him to a life he didn't choose. He felt that his father didn't understand him, didn't care about his dreams, his desires. He longed for a simple "I love you," or even a pat on the back, but those were luxuries Mr. Sharma never seemed to offer. As Arjun grew older, the resentment simmered into a quiet rebellion. He started skipping his morning exercise, hiding his favorite novels under his textbooks, and spending more time with his friends, often lying to his father about his whereabouts. He saw it as a small act of defiance, a way to reclaim some control over his life. Mr. Sharma, however, remained oblivious, or so it seemed. He continued to maintain the same rigorous schedule, the same unwavering discipline. He would occasionally ask about Arjun's studies, his future plans, but the questions felt more like an interrogation than a genuine expression of concern. One day, Arjun failed an important mathematics exam. He knew his father would be furious. He dreaded going home, visualizing the disappointment and anger that would surely erupt. He considered running away, but he knew that was just a childish fantasy. When he finally arrived home, Mr. Sharma was waiting for him in the living room. The air crackled with tension. Arjun braced himself for the storm. "The results are out," Mr. Sharma said, his voice surprisingly calm. Arjun nodded, unable to meet his father's gaze. "You failed," Mr. Sharma stated, not as an accusation, but as a simple fact. Arjun waited for the lecture, the scolding, the harsh words, but they never came. Instead, Mr. Sharma sighed and said, "It's all right. Mistakes happen. We will work harder next time." Arjun was taken aback. This was not the reaction he had expected. He looked up at his father, searching for any sign of anger or disappointment, but found none. "I know you are trying your best," Mr. Sharma continued, his voice softening. "Sometimes things don't go as planned, but that doesn't mean you give up. You learn from your mistakes and you keep going." That night, for the first time, Arjun saw a different side of his father. He saw a man who was not just a disciplinarian, but also a person who understood the pressures and challenges he faced. He saw a man who, despite his stoic exterior, cared deeply about his son. However, this moment of understanding was fleeting. As Arjun entered his teenage years, the generation gap widened and the conflicts escalated. He resented his father's interference in his life, his constant disapproval of his choices. He wanted to be independent, to make his own decisions, even if they were wrong. He chose to study literature against his father's wish of becoming an engineer. This fueled their already conflicted relationship. Mr. Sharma didn't say much, but Arjun could see the disappointment in his eyes. After finishing his studies, Arjun decided to move to Mumbai, chasing his dream of becoming a writer. Mr. Sharma opposed his decision, arguing that a stable job in a reputable company was a more practical and secure option. But Arjun was determined to follow his own path, even if it meant disappointing his father. For years, Arjun struggled in Mumbai. He worked odd jobs to make ends meet, facing constant rejections from publishers and editors. He often thought of giving up, of returning home and accepting his father's offer of a secure job in his business. But he couldn't bring himself to do it. He had come too far, sacrificed too much. He had to prove to himself, and perhaps to his father, that he could make it on his own. During those difficult years, his mother was his constant source of support. She would call him regularly, offering words of encouragement and sending him small amounts of money to help him get by. Mr. Sharma, however, remained aloof. He rarely called, and when he did, the conversations were brief and impersonal. Arjun felt a pang of bitterness. He believed that his father had given up on him, that he was disappointed in his choices. He longed for his approval, his support, but it seemed like a distant dream. One day, after facing yet another rejection, Arjun was feeling particularly despondent. He decided to call his mother, seeking comfort and reassurance. "Beta," Maya said, her voice filled with concern. "How are you? Your father is worried about you." "Worried?" Arjun scoffed. "He never calls. He probably thinks I'm a failure." "That's not true, Arjun," Maya replied softly. "He worries about you constantly. He just doesn't know how to express it." "Express it?" Arjun retorted. "He's never expressed anything but disapproval." Maya sighed. "Arjun, you need to understand your father. He is a man of few words. He shows his love through his actions, not through empty words." She then told Arjun something he had never known before. When Arjun was born, Mr. Sharma had the opportunity to expand his business significantly, but he had turned it down, fearing that it would take him away from his family. He wanted to be present in Arjun's life, to guide him, to protect him. "He sacrificed his own dreams for you, Arjun," Maya said. "He may not say it, but he loves you more than anything in the world." Arjun was stunned. He had always believed that his father was driven by ambition, by a desire for wealth and success. He had never considered the possibility that he had made sacrifices for his family. Maya continued, "All those rules, all that discipline, it wasn't because he wanted to control you, it was because he wanted to prepare you for the world. He knew that life would be difficult, and he wanted you to be strong enough to face any challenge." Arjun realized that his mother was right. He had been so blinded by his own resentment that he had failed to see the truth. His father's love was not expressed in hugs and kisses, but in the countless sacrifices he had made, in the unwavering discipline he had instilled, in the silent concern he carried in his heart. A wave of guilt washed over Arjun. He had misjudged his father, misunderstood his intentions. He had focused on the perceived negativity, ignoring the underlying love and care. He decided to call his father. Mr. Sharma answered the phone, his voice sounding tired. "Hello, Arjun," he said. "Baba," Arjun began, his voice choked with emotion. I wanted to say thank you." There was a long pause. Arjun could hear his father breathing heavily on the other end of the line. "Thank you for everything," Arjun continued. "For the discipline, for the guidance, for the sacrifices you made for me." Mr. Sharma remained silent for a moment, then he simply said, "You are my son, Arjun. I will always be there for you." Those words, simple yet profound, were enough to break the dam of Arjun's emotions. Tears streamed down his face as he realized the depth of his father's love. "I love you, Baba," he whispered. There was another pause, then Mr. Sharma replied, his voice thick with emotion. "I love you too, Arjun." That phone call marked a turning point in their relationship. Arjun started calling his parents more often, sharing his struggles and his triumphs. Mr. Sharma, in turn, started to open up, sharing his own experiences and offering words of encouragement. Slowly, gradually, the wall that had separated them for so long began to crumble. Arjun started to appreciate the values his father had instilled in him. The discipline, the resilience, the unwavering work ethic, these were the qualities that had helped him survive the tough times in Mumbai. He realized that his father's strictness was not born out of a lack of love, but out of a deep-seated desire to see him succeed. He wanted to protect him from the harsh realities of the world, to equip him with the tools he needed to navigate life's challenges. Years later, Arjun finally achieved his dream of becoming a successful writer. His first novel was published to critical acclaim, and he became a household name. He dedicated the book to his parents, acknowledging their unwavering support and love. When Arjun returned home for the book launch, Mr. Sharma was waiting for him at the airport. As Arjun walked towards him, he saw a flicker of pride in his father's eyes. They embraced, a long, silent hug that spoke volumes. In that moment, Arjun knew that he had finally earned his father's approval, not by conforming to his expectations, but by pursuing his own dreams with passion and determination. That evening, at the book launch, Mr. Sharma stood proudly beside his son, his face beaming with pride. He didn't say much, but his presence spoke louder than any words. Later that night, as they sat together on the veranda, sipping tea, Arjun turned to his father and said, "Baba, I understand now. I understand why you were so strict with me. You wanted me to be strong." Mr. Sharma smiled. "Life is not easy, Arjun," he said. "It will test you in ways you cannot imagine. But if you have the strength and the resilience, you can overcome any obstacle." Arjun nodded, his heart filled with gratitude and love. He realized that his father's love was not always expressed, but it was always present, a guiding force that had shaped him into the person he was today. He understood that a father's love is often unspoken, a silent sacrifice, a quiet strength that underpins a child's journey. It is a love that doesn't demand attention, but diligently lays the foundation for a life well lived. It is a love that doesn't always give you what you want, but always gives you what you need. From that day forward, Arjun saw his father in a new light. He no longer saw him as a stern disciplinarian, but as a loving father who had sacrificed his own dreams for the sake of his children. He saw him as a man of integrity, of unwavering principles, and of boundless love. He finally understood the unspoken language of a father's heart, a language of sacrifice, of discipline, and of unwavering love. A language that spoke not through words, but through actions, through deeds, through the very essence of his being. And Arjun knew, with absolute certainty, that his father's love would always be his guiding light, his source of strength, his unwavering anchor in the turbulent seas of life.